Go for it, baby.
Hello and welcome to On The Esky as Sports Podcast, where we like to wrap up the week that was in sport. We're live tonight, boys. YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. A few Christmas parties were had. Some possibly had a few cans involved, a few schooners, a few scooey moi, if you will. But get involved. We have Ash's chat, second test, Marnus Labuschagne, the best batsman in the world. Boxing Day. Mm-hmm. The day that's better than Christmas. Let's be honest. Christmas is for little boys, you know, growing up, waking up. Oh, it's Christmas. I need to open some presents. Boxing Day is where the men come out. NFL, week 16. It's been hit. It's been hit by the Kung Flu, the spicy virus. It's still going ahead, and there's still
managing.
Yeah, going. Boxing, NBA, dribble. It's all here on The Esky. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Any of you joining us live, please get at us in the comments. Please remember, we have timestamps. You can skip dribble. You can skip the sports that you don't like. Or you can ride it out with us and go on if you're a full sports nuffy and just cop it all on the chin. Please check out our YouTube, like and subscribe, Instagram, etc., etc. On my left, I have Monkey Magic. He's getting in there, Christmas spirit. And on my right, I've got the Denver Broncos' biggest fan in Australia, Sean Gould. How are we, lads? Sean?
Very good, mate. Thanks for the intro, as always. Been an excellent week of sports. Starting to wind down a little bit as we're getting closer to Christmas. But we, of course, will wrap up everything, as Pepe said. Mm-hmm. But my week has been good, besides Denver losing and getting no Pro Bowl players. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, zero.
Monks, how about you? How's your week been?
Yeah, good. Week of holidays, not working too hard. So you've been stuck into the new house. I'm trying to watch a little bit more sport than usual. Especially those Monday games and some of those postponed games in the NFL this week gave us a little bit of opportunity to watch some games during the day.
How good's the postponed games? Like, obviously, you know, wouldn't wish a pandemic upon anyone. However, Tuesday games, Wednesday games, you know, for the neutral, it's good.
Yeah, well, I think
NFL football keeps rolling through.
Within a 10-day span, they had eight days have football games on it. So we'll take that.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. That's that kind of shit because dad's watching football.
Yeah.
Definitely.
As we like to do here on The Esky, we like to shout a beer, someone that has been outstanding in the week that was in sport. We like to shout him a metaphorical beer, if you will. Monks, take it away. One metaphorical beer going to.
Yep. So this week I'm going to shout a beer to Ange Postecoglou. He, in his first season with Celtic, took them through to the Scottish League Cup final, winning it. So probably one of Australia's most prolific football players / managers floating around.
Mm-hmm. Tommy Rogic.
Yeah.
Canberra boy. Shout out.
Definitely. So maybe he deserves a beer for winning as well.
What do they drink in Greece? Mythos.
You're
blue,
you're a little bit more travelled than me.
Oh, I've studied the amber ales around the world. I think, look, maybe Ange likes, you know, just an Australian beer. However, I think over in Greece, the Mythos probably keeps the economy alive. It's kind of taking a bit of a dive. Can't talk as an Italian ancestor. What's the opposite of an ancestor?
Descendant?
Descendant. Thank you, Monks. Rare that you saved me. Rare that you saved me.
Definitely. So shouting Ange a beer this week. Obviously only on a 1-year deal, so hopefully the Celtics can put pen to paper and get him a bit of a long-term deal.
Prove it or lose it, Ange Postecoglou.
Yep, that's it. So
Celtic, lock him in, 4 years.
That's it. Keep on sending him beers until he gets a long-term contract.
Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. Sean, if you will, it's a golfing. This is quite nice, actually. The father-son tournament. You know, a lot of love, obviously. A lot of hard work, hitting balls. A lot of what I never had growing up. What would you say about the? Surprised I didn't get a laugh. What would you say about the weekend's tournament? You know, father-son classic.
Yeah. Well, I think it goes back to 2 podcasts ago when it was first announced that Tiger and Charlie were going to take part in this, and then their warm-ups last podcast, and then the actual tournament over the weekend where they finished second. So that was my shout out beer going out to the Woods. Charlie a bit young for a beer, but his dad can have 2 for him. They, as I said, finished second, combined 25 under. So it was great to see Tiger back playing elite golf after such a major injury. Maybe he was carried a little bit by Charlie, by all accounts. Charlie is
carried by a 12-year-old.
Yes,
I do remember seeing that Charlie got an eagle on a hole by himself.
Yeah.
His dad didn't get involved at all.
So
it's not fair, is it?
Yeah, he's not too far away from going professional. I'd say if he can keep that up, maybe by the time he's 16, he'll be on the tour. Who knows? But I wanted to shout him out. The one, of course, the whole father-son story. 2, Woods, Tiger, that is, getting back from his injury, looking wham and playing excellent golf with his son. So that was my shout out, which I think leads into yours, Peps, because they finished second. Who finished first?
That's a great segue. However, I just want to. This is a classic short move. Got
I set you up, and then he was like, "Nah,
got the
fuck
segue."
that.
But I'm going. Rudy Gobert, bang, block. Let's go back. Can you please, Ben Hogan? The stories are so similar. Car accident in the 1950s, not the best medical care around. The best golfer in the world tied up in a car accident and came back and won majors. Could it happen again? 60 years, 70 years down the track.
Well, Tiger's already done it once when you think about his fall from grace and took about a decade to get back to that.
However, post horrific car accident, could it happen? Check it out. It's and I think the yarn is that Ben Hogan, he actually jumped across as he was getting hit to save his wife, and the steering column went through where he would have been sitting, and it was the same kind of yarn. He can't come back from this. He's too banged up. It's impossible. He's the best golfer in the world. What could happen? And this crazy accident, he said, no, don't worry. It's like 1950s technology in the hospital. And he came back and he won. Could it happen again, Monks? What have you got for us?
Possibly. No, not much on that.
Career-threatening accident.
Yeah, it was career-threatening.
Mate, he was in the hospital for a long time.
You already went through it, yeah. So driving home from Fort Worth after a playoff loss in 1949 Phoenix Open.
49?
Yep.
4 years post-war,
so
ladies and gentlemen.
They survived a head-on collision with a Greyhound bus in Texas.
A little bit of mayo on the story here. Yeah. I was saying car v bus.
That's it.
And he came back, didn't he?
Came back. Fortunately, he was driving slow. At the time, there was a lot of ground fog. So at least speed was a reduced component to the crash. But, yeah, he returned to the PGA Tour in 1950 and at the Los Angeles Open where he tied with Sam Snead over 72 holes. But he lost the 18-hole playoff.
18-hole playoff.
But yeah, after that, kept on playing for a few more years.
Pretty crazy. It's weird how history repeats itself sometimes.
Yeah, and it's probably a testament to, well, maybe not a testament, but the sport that very much being technique and talent with a golf club that and as a sport you can play very late into your life that gives you lots of opportunities to get there. Having said that, though, not many. I don't think anyone's won a major past 50.
No, I think the record owner in recent times may be Tiger Woods.
And I think 49 for him, maybe. Anyway, that's bygones. But hey,
yeah,
it could potentially be done.
So I think where your story comes from, in 1953, Ben Hogan won the Masters, the US Open, and the Open Championships. So he won the Triple Crown. The only other person to do that, Tiger Woods, back in 2000.
Scary, the similarities.
Yeah.
That's 4 years post major car accident. Would it be out of the realm of possibility that Tiger comes back and wins a major?
Again, wouldn't surprise me if he's. The other thing is Tiger needed rest and recovery because he was struggling with back injuries, etc. So the car accident may have forced him into some sort of realization of where his health was and that he needed to take better care of himself. So, hey, he might even be better than he was pre-crash.
Scary prospect.
Possibly. Get
Scary.
on that TB12 diet or regime.
Stem cells.
All right, Pepe, give us your shout out beer.
Yeah, I'm going to shout the guys that beat Tiger and Charlie Woods. That is John Daly and Little John Daly. It's nice to see John Daly hasn't really changed, let's be honest, since the 90s. Since the noughties, he's still the same man. Big beard now, still quite heavy, still likes to enjoy a beverage and a cigarette. Did see the old video on Instagram of him enjoying a cigarette smoked backwards, that's butt out and lighted end into the mouth and one out of the nose. And that was him celebrating with his 18-year-old son. And why wouldn't you? Because you're the best father-son combination in the world. Yep. Good on you, John Daly. An inspiration to all the, fat, smoking, drinking losers of the world. Except, however, he's a winner. He's a winner. He just beat the greatest golfer of all time and his son. So shout out.
Yeah, the prodigy.
To John Daly and Little John Daly, who, let's be honest, is probably not Little John. Sometimes you have a son and he's bigger than you. And I think he's going to grow into his body. And I think he's going to be a great golfer. Mm-hmm. And I think the pants are going to be fire. I think 20 years of American flags and
parachute pants,
darts and swearing and all the rest of it. He really, he kind of channels the amateur golfer, doesn't he? Doesn't he?
Yep.
Definitely.
He's more there about the drinks and the smokes and the women.
Yeah. But he loves the tonk. He likes to hear how
he hits them long and he hits them straight. So shout out to John Daly and Little John Daly for taking out a father-son championship and something that you would treasure, wouldn't you?
Oh, I definitely.
It'd be great to see you be able to play with your son or father at that high level in any sort of competition.
Especially if you've beaten Tiger Woods and the prodigy and Charlie as well.
But you could also say, hey, you're 12 little, settle down. You're going to get there, obviously.
That's it.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You see any swing? It's a carbon copy.
Oh, he's
it's the same.
He tells his father's kid.
Same thing as the old man.
Yeah. So for completeness sake, they finished 27 under, 2 strokes ahead of the Woods clan.
Wouldn't mind going down to Capital Golf Club and playing with anyone and shooting 27 under Ambrose. Let's go.
Yeah.
That'll wrap us up.
Yeah, well, that'll wrap our intro up. So we need to get stuck into the first sport, and we're going to talk cricket as always. We're going to kick off with the Ashes being the major, what do we call it, sports series or cricket series.
Talking point.
Yeah, talking point going on at the moment in the cricket world. Of course, I think we need to review what happened in Adelaide. I think we were going into day 3 or day 2 of the last podcast.
Day 2,
Well, actually, we watched some of it live.
We did.
And summarise, the Aussies are up to zip. They did win this. Never really looked in doubt, kind of controlled throughout the match. So if we look at the scorecard to review it, we'll talk about Marcus Harris in a minute. I think by all accounts, he's still struggling. So he's had 4 innings and he hit over 20 in the second inning. So that is the second time in his Test career he's got past 20. But outside of that, David Warner, Marcus Labuschagne, the loose bus change, and Stephen Smith, elite in the first innings and really set Australia up for a big total. Got almost 300 between them. Travis Head, unfortunately, didn't really. I think he was going more the slog. He was trying to get after Root and missed one, and it took his stumps. Cameron Green a bit unlucky with the bat recently.
Yep,
finished with only 2, but I think Alex Carey did a bit of a job. Come out and put another 50 on, and then Starkey came out and threw the bat around a bit and got 39. But Nisa as well with a tidy little 35.
Averages more than everyone in the English Test team. That's not named Joe Root. So shout out to you, Michael Nisa, in your first Test.
Yep.
So a commanding total for the first innings for Australia to kick off this Test, as we alluded to in the last podcast, and then the English squad came out for their second innings, and well, they started off pretty slow by all accounts. Burns didn't last long. You gone too far. Get back up. Burns didn't last very long. Made neither. Marlon and Root kind of steadied the ship there. Milan. Sorry, why did I say Marlon? Milan and Root steadied the ship there. Stokes with a little bit, but then they tail-enders did nothing and were cleaned up very quickly, which put them in a bit of a tough spot. The Aussies could have enforced the follow-on at this point.
Chose not to.
Chose not to. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, obviously it played out well.
So some of the thinking was, you could have spent, instead of spending the next day and a half batting and then trying to get the pommies out, and then they're getting close to potentially drawing this game, you could have just sent them back in and got them all out, and they weren't going to get to your total anyway.
Well, you got to think of your bowlers. You got to think of the fielders. Yeah. Back-to-back innings, even if you're cleaning up in 80 overs, that takes a toll. It takes a toll. The boys are, if they're bowling 19, 20 overs, they're going to go and do that twice. Mm-hmm. I think you say, well done, lads. Well done, Jai. Well done, Mitchell. And you say, let's get back in there, recuperate, and fuck it. We'll set them 480 as they did, and go from there.
So through this first innings, Nisa gets his first and Starkey got 4. Unfortunately for Richardson, he got nothing in this first innings.
Yeah, but how'd that finish up?
Yeah, but exactly. So the Aussies then came out and batted for their second innings. Harris, as I said before, did get past 20. It was a bit light on at the top there. They did have the night washman and Nisa come in. Labuschagne got 50, Head got 50. Smith was a bit unlucky with 6 there. Cam Green, at least, didn't get out and was solid there for 33.
That's good, because I think there was a little bit of a monkey on the back of Green. Yep. Obviously, I think Australians kind of know how talented he is.
However, he's 22.
He's 22.
Yeah, he's 6'7". He's a massive lad.
He's a baby. Yeah. He is a baby. And a cute, tall one of that. A tall one that feels in the gully. Yeah. Have you seen a tall man move like that in the gully? I haven't. And I'm a tall man that can't move in the gully. But it's nice to see. And I think a little bit of pressure building. It's like, does he bowl? Does he bat? Where's his spot?
I think this was good, like having such a commanding lead and then going in for that second inning. It just took all the pressure off. Like they could go out, have a knock. You saw Harris scored more than what he usually does.
Yeah, try a few things.
Green, scored a few more than what he normally does. And, just sort of worked in their favour that they didn't have to go chase down a huge target or anything. They just had to go play a couple sessions and then see what how many runs they could make and get them back in to
250
take them out.
Ahead.
Yeah.
You guys saying Marnus went to number 1 this week.
We'll get to that. Let's just finish off the summarising of the test that was. So in both innings for Australia, Nathan Lyon doesn't get a chance to bat. Obviously, Steve Smith doesn't think he needs to go out there bat. They're protecting the GOAT. So the wickets shared very much between the English bowlers. One for Jimmy, one for Broad. Ollie Robinson got the 2. Root got 2.
What about Colin Funky Miller? He's bowling off 30 steps, and he's bowling off spinning.
Yeah. Well,
interesting.
Had to get their overrate up, so yeah.
When was the last time we seen that? I actually think it was Colin Funky Miller or Andrew Simons, perhaps. Used to bowl a few meds and used to bowl a few off spinners. I haven't seen that for 15 years.
But he wasn't. Yeah, Andrew Simons wasn't like a first choice bowler.
Sure.
So we essentially were saying Josh Hage was then turned around and decided to throw.
Very unusual. Very unusual. Yeah.
But
I was expecting, them to spray his hair in some kind of green or blue.
Or get some frosted tips in the.
Yeah,
he was wearing the speed runners with the sunglasses.
Colin Funky Miller, shout out to you if you're listening, Ollie Robinson.
Yeah.
And you know what?
He did well as well.
It was turning.
It
was turning.
It wasn't that bad.
Nah, it wasn't bad at all. So shout out to you, Ollie.
Yeah. So
turning that ball like an offensive tweet in 2010. Just straight back, like just doing you. Just doing you. Flight, line, length.
So set very much an impossible total, the Pommies were. I think it was, by the end of it was 400 plus. It was like 440 they had to chase down. So let's go down a little bit, Max. So they came out, Burns actually faced up for this innings, surprisingly. after rejecting it for the last couple. He then got 34 from 95 hanging around. Me didn't. And then the batsman really didn't do too much for the Pommies, unfortunately. Wokes was probably the main one there trying to and Josh Butler stayed in there for forever.
You want to know a stat about Wokes?
Yes.
The only English batsman to make 20 in each innings in this Ashes.
There you go.
Wow.
Only one to put
Hold his spot.
anyone. Well, we'll get to the team chat in a second, but you'd think so. They didn't score well. The bottom half of their squad did pretty well to hold in for as long as they did.
Josh.
Josh.
Josh was the main one. He facing over 200 balls. Then Wokes himself did almost 100 as well.
What about the unfortunate way to step on your own stump after facing 200 rocks, and then you go back and you step on it, and they light up, just to add insult to injury. Just, hey, mate.
Little Christmas lights.
Yeah, that's right. You're one of the best ODI white ball players in the world. By the way, you just stepped on your own fucking poles.
Yeah. So
that was a great knock. Gritty.
Yeah.
I had people texting me saying, "Are you worried?" I was like, "Nah, not really." And then he just keep seeing him out. I was like, I'm not worried. But
yeah,
I'm starting to go that way. Yeah.
I think they got him out with
Definitely.
about 20, maybe even with 19 overs left, I think, from memory. So they still had a plenty to go. But yeah, they
if Josh and Wokes hung out there for a little bit, got through to the late break, went out and saw a few overs, maybe you start getting worried. But I don't know. It felt like it was job done. Day 5.
Yeah. So beaten by over 200 runs. The English squad was. Starkey got 2. As we mentioned before, Jai Richardson, he did get his Michelle Pfeiffer through this. Great considering coming in the squad, getting 0 to first innings and then picking up 5 was good. Nathan Lyon bowled a shitload and he got 2 wickets for himself.
Their most accomplished bowler at the Adelaide Oval ever.
Or did he? Yeah, he took the lead. He took it from Warney by 1.
One ahead of Shane Warne.
Yes. So there you go. And Niso got another one as well for his efforts.
Jai Richardson chat. And this is going to be niche, but we'll play to the niche listeners.
Yep.
Sex Education on Netflix. Pretty good show. Coming of age.
Glad you clarified that as being on Netflix.
TV show.
Yeah, don't type that in with safe search off.
No sex education on the Esky.
No, it's a nice show. It's like a high school show. It's coming of age. Obviously, they set it up like Maeve is like this kind of like hipster girl. She's a bit she reads feminist books. She's a bit mean. Then you've got this big nerd. He's skinny, but he's quite well versed in the books. His name's Otis. Otis, that's right. His mum's Gillian Anderson. That's right. Mulder and Scully. Mulder, how are you? I'm Otis's mum. And I will do the accent because why not? So I have seen on the interwebs that thing that connects us all, for better or for worse. Jai Richardson, look-alike, Otis of Sex Education. And this is me doing Gillian Anderson, as formerly known as the hot lady of
formerly known as the hot lady, Paul.
The X-Files. Otis, I know you've been out there bowling down the English boys. I know you can get that ball hooping. It's completely understandable that you could get that ball hooping on a 4th to 5th stump line and just get away. Just be good enough to nick him up. I totally understand it, Otis. And that's me doing Gillian Anderson as Jai Richardson. Let's go, schnick him up. Otis, let's go. Come on. Good show.
I think you need to cover the point here that Otis looks like Jai Richardson. That's why we're doing
Well, I think I said it at the top. Otis, it's completely normal. Don't worry about it. If you come down here and, you're bowling, it's at Adelaide Oval, the ball starts moving around a little bit, You can sneak up these poms. They're not much chop. They're not much chop. My name's Gillian Anderson. I'm not even from England. I'm American. X-Files, David Duchovny.
Back on track to the cricket.
We were talking about cricket.
Yes,
I think that's the best bit we've ever done.
Probably not.
We'll snip that up.
We'll snip that up. Otis. So, perhaps you want to talk about, as you alluded to before, the Aussies, Marcus Labuschagne being the number one batsman in the world, for Test cricket, based on the ICC rankings.
He's the best batsman in the world. We have 4 of the top 10, if you wouldn't mind. 4 of the top 10. This shout out to Michael Stamson, sent it through in the group chat.
Yep.
These are Marcus Labuschagne's first innings totals since Lords in 2019. 74, 67, 48, 187, 162, 143, 63, 215, 47, 48, 91, 108, 74, 103. To cut a long story short, his lowest score in 2 years in the first innings is 47. He's the best stick in the world.
Even then, there's only, 4 or 5 under 50?
Well,
There's 3 there under 50s?
he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tons. 6 tons in that. He's the best. And for once, as Aussies that have seen English, pasty, vitamin D deficient
Joe Root at the top.
English morons just stealing these suffers, just stealing them. And we said, hey, mate, it's pretty hot over here. Why don't you just come play for us? Yeah. And it worked.
It did work.
He's the best stick in the world.
He is. So, he's number 1 in the rankings. So, if I didn't go through, I guess we'll go
to
through
the top 10.
Yep, so we do have... He overtook Joe Root.
AKA
second.
Ellen DeGeneres.
I'll leave that one with you.
It's a meme. It's not my thoughts.
After him, we've got our own Steve Smith as well at number 3. So that's 2 of the 4. Then we've got Kane Williamson, Rohit Sharma, Davey Warner in at 6. And then we've got Virat Kohli 7. Dimunth Kanaratan. I messed that up for Sri Lanka at number 8.
Karunaratne?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Then we've got Baba Azim from Pakistan at number 9, and Travis Head rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, he's 150 and then 50 in this innings has done him well to push him in the top 10. But
How good's that? T Head, top 10.
yeah, and after everyone talking about should he make the squad, maybe Usman he should go in there, play ahead of him. But hey, they stuck true to Travis Head and he's
Vice
rewarded
captain of
them.
Australia. Thank you very much.
Yes. And I think have 4 in the top 10 is the first time for Australia since like 05.
Yeah, I think since they started the rankings.
Yeah, and I think Australia's only one. There was a period where we had 5 in the top 10 as well.
Really?
As the only nation to have done that, and I think that was again early 2000s. So impressive feat. We were talking last week about the best Test team in the world, and the competition between probably India and New Zealand for that spot. Just to go show that Australia, though maybe not having the results of late, and especially losing in the say competitive series with those nations, hasn't helped their chances. But they still have the talent, individual talent. So hopefully they can put it all together and again push back towards that upper echelon of the. Well, they're probably in third spot and need to take over, second and first.
What happens if it's 5-zip? Because it's looking more and more likely.
Well, I think the rankings will reward us, and especially winning the Ashes. But hey, we got to remember that Indian series was only last year and didn't go so well for us at home.
Yeah, fair.
So it needed another in.
What about England? They haven't won a Test match here in over 4,000 days.
Yep, and a long time.
My younger brother doesn't follow much cricket. He's only can go off the news. This is what he sent to me. He said, "Have England ever won a Test match in Australia?" That's what he asked me. I said, "Yes, mate. Yes, it's just been a long time."
Yeah, it's just
He doesn't know any
10
better.
years.
Doesn't know any better. Like a little innocent puppy, you know?
Yeah.
Little pup. Just asking. And he said, you know, have they ever won? And I said, yes. You have to go back a long way. He's only, 20, you know. Been a long time.
Yeah.
Been a long time.
So
Has been a long
let's talk about what's coming up, the Boxing Day test. Let's start with Australia. There's a squad. I don't think you change any of the batting lineup. What are we doing with the bowlers? Hazelwood and Cummins have to come back in?
Yeah, if they're fit, they come in. I think. No disrespect. Disrespect to Otis of sex education, you know. His mum's fucking...
I don't. Yeah, to Richardson, yes.
Yeah. His mum's... is it Mulder or Scully?
Yeah. So
Scully.
Yeah, it's Scully. It's Scully.
Scully. His mum's Scully off the X-Files. You know, young 6-year-olds, watching, they're like, oh, I'm not that scared of the aliens, but wouldn't mind seeing where Scully comes in. You know, that's his mum. That's his mum. He's Otis. He's got a little furry lip, as our, man down the left here has been trying. And Ken Hooper. However, I think it's abundantly clear. If Cummins and Hazelwood are coming in, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's Mulder. Doesn't matter if it's Scully. Doesn't matter if it's the alien that they're investigating. They come into the side.
Yeah, well, I think Nings is probably the most unlucky of the two because he's replacing Cummins, and if Cummins is over his COVID, he'll come straight back in as the captain. Yeah. Richardson may be lucky. He might get the Boxing Day test, like you said, depending on Hazelwood's health, if they want to rest his hammy, or rest his legs and his back, essentially, for Josh, so he can be ready later on. Potentially, if he's good to go, though, I think, like you said, Josh is in, Richardson's out. And then that's the strongest lineup we've got, and Richardson will carry the drinks around at the Boxing Day test as the 12th man. So if we flip script and go to England, what do we think for them? Because I think the last two tests, everyone's kind of said, and I think we can probably all agree with it as well, that haven't probably picked the bowling lineups they needed for the situations.
I disagree.
No, you think they did an all job?
I suppose, yeah. Who else could you pick?
I think their bowling depth is fine. I don't think they have a top 6 outside of J Root. I just don't think any of these guys can adapt to the conditions. Their best bat, their best stick, Joe Root, the former number 1 batsman in the world as of yesterday, he hasn't scored a ton down here.
Yep.
You know?
Well, looking at this,
that's my thoughts.
Yeah, so
I just don't think this side can keep up with us down here.
Yeah. Well, let's start with the batters then, as you're talking to there. I think the only options I could potentially think about is maybe change your openers up. Maybe Hamid's unlucky, and then you put in someone like Crawley.
Is he going to win a test match for you?
I don't know, but maybe he's going to get more runs than he might get double digits, which is better than what you're currently getting.
Nah, I can't say it. I think that bowling talent in England is very good, but down under, nah, I just don't say it. Sorry.
So, well, bowling talent then. You'd say Jimmy Anderson and Broad are going to stay. You'd maybe Olive Robinson. I think they need to bring Mark Wood back in.
Legitimate pace.
Yeah, because I think it was kind of showed in Adelaide they were missing that a little bit where they didn't have the change-up. All the bowlers are very similar with a slight bit of movement. I think, the general pace, that Mitchell Stark equivalent, as you like, and Wood, I think would be a good in. Do I think they need a specialist spinner?
Jack Leach, bring him back.
I don't think he's good. He's not good enough as a specialist.
He's all right in Brisbane.
It was good for us in Brisbane, definitely for the Australian squad.
It was.
And they're covering it enough with Root, but it's only bowled 6 overs, I think, in that second innings. So they need a spin of something, but I don't think they've got a spinner in their squad.
I don't think they've got one that they can pick with reliability.
No, not the current lot. And Mo and Ailey retiring on them probably hasn't helped them bring in a young fella as a replacement. Not to say that was a surprise, but it was recent. They don't really have anyone good as a replacement there. So I think their squad in general, what they've brought to Australia, is lacking a backup spinner of some caliber that they could potentially use.
5-0. 5-0. I think, a lot of chat. Pope comes out, Bairstow comes in. What does that do you? It's the same. It's the same fucking person.
Yeah.
Bairstow a little bit more accomplished, obviously. Yeah, I think it's going to be a long summer for the English.
Well, I think there's some rain forecast for Sydney across the Boxing Day test, so that might be the only reprieve to not a 5-0 walloping.
In Sydney
would be
or
with a bit of
in
rain.
Melbourne?
Melbourne. Sorry, yes, it's across the whole eastern seaboard. Sorry, I was looking at Sydney and I had Canberra, and
It's the only thing that's going to save them.
yeah,
Where's the writing on the wall? Who's going to save us?
Save them from a 5-0 whitewash to a 4-0 whitewash.
Seems like it.
and I forgot to mention on the Australian squad, has been confirmed that Harris will keep his spot in the Boxing Day test. They're not going to switch him out for.
Interesting. I want him to make runs.
I think everyone. Well, of course, everyone wants them to make runs.
I think there's a few nefarious actors out there that don't want him to.
True. Well, I think he's been doing a good game plan as always, getting out, and then
Labuschagne
Labuschagne comes in.
As you said last week, I wouldn't mind
The best batsman in the world now.
I wouldn't mind the number one batsman in the world coming in at like 1 for 180. So do what you can from that. Yeah. But I can't imagine the head noise as aforementioned in previous episodes. But I want Marcus Harris to make runs. Let's see how we go from there.
Yeah. So that's Ash's chat. As we said, the test in the MCG kicks off on Boxing Day, which is in
Sunday. Yeah.
Sunday.
You know what's weird? You get to this time of the year and you start thinking like dates. You start thinking, it's not Monday to Friday. You start thinking, oh, that's Christmas Eve. That's Christmas.
Yes.
That's Boxing Day.
Yes.
Is it just me that does it? I think, that's more unanimous than that, surely.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, fair enough.
For those 3 days of the year.
Well, it's nice. It's nice to have a little bit of support. All right, Big Bash.
Yeah, we'll quickly run through this one.
Shout out to Bobcat, if you're listening, my friend Ben Graham. He had an apprentice out west somewhere come in and just trying to fit in. The boys like to talk about Test cricket. He came in on the fourth night, I believe, the Monday morning, and he said, "Did you guys catch the Big Bash last night?" Young bloke, you've got a lot to learn. We like it. We like it. It's cricket. It's better than watching, Real Housewives of,
Vegas,
fucking
Hollywood.
Waniasa.
Well, yeah.
Waniasa.
So
that'd be real bogan, but that might be entertaining.
Yeah, that'd probably be better. Like, where's me fucking dad? That'd be nicer.
So the moral of this story is, why is Big Bash on at the same time we've got the Ashes on?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. And they were kind of like trying to push it. Like Channel 7 was like, oh, we've got,
Big Bash on the other channel.
135-year-old competition on right now. However, do you guys want to see some guys in some coloured shirts playing for something that no one remembers? That's kind of like, the idea behind it. Thoughts?
Seems silly, and I think we've talked in the past about comparing the Big Bash League now to the IPL and be like, oh, wow, they actually are a tier down.
It is, yeah.
From a competition.
Div 1, Div 2.
And especially when you finish up with the Ashes and then you flick over and try and watch a Big Bash League and it's like, wow, this is, again, it is a big step down.
Scheduling dilemma? What if, so say the day nighters, they obviously start at 3 in Adelaide, Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, don't put them on at night, yeah.
What about like a midday start or like 12:30?
Lead into it. Use it as it should be a pre-game.
Do the opposite of when there's a test match and then they have the Big Bash in the evening. You could
get people hyped.
Flip it around, perhaps.
Oh, I agree. 100% agree. What's happening in the Big Bash though, Monks? If you want to get the table there, we've currently got the Thunder and the Heat playing both in the same coloured jerseys, which I think is kind of stupid.
Sixers, mate. They're going three-peat.
Oh, well, it looks like it at the moment. Philippe leading the runs, followed closely by Henriques.
Well, Scorch is the number one on the ladder. So 1v2.
Ty's got the most wickets as well. So Mitch Marsh is up there with runs.
Form.
They were finalists last year, I think is what we worked out. So
could they repeat?
Yeah, they're 1 and 2. Scorchers on 17 points, Sixers on 14. Already 5 points clear of number 3 in the Thunder. Everyone else is already kind of losing weight, and we've only just started this series, and it's going to run for another 5 weeks before we even get to finals.
Yep, end of January.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't say it's clear cut, but we've got 2 heavy favourites, 2 dominant teams for last year. We'll see how far they get, but the other teams are already struggling. Any thoughts down the end of the table?
No, I'm looking forward to winning the Ashes 5-zip and then caring about if the Sixers can knock off the Scorchers.
Yeah, like you said, huge scheduling dilemma. I don't know if that fixes anything. I don't know if they ran it afterwards or before, if you had some of the players in the Ashes going back to Big Bash, making it a little more entertaining. I suppose it also goes to the point of the IPL, they're able to draw in a lot more international stars.
Yeah.
So that's probably where the gap is for Australia at the moment.
Yeah, it fits in a nice time frame around where all the other, like the English cricket's been playing, the Australian summer, etc. Like it fits in that kind of nice middle ground there.
Yeah, that's it. And I understand that with the Big Bash, they try to do it over the summer holidays, try and get the kids involved and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
and
cricket appeal to the young ones. Yes.
That's it. Yeah. So and that's probably to the point. Like Big Bash isn't really supposed to be targeted for us older nuffies. It's more to bring in that next generation.
Yes.
But shouldn't you be sitting down, young fella, and saying, "Son, I know this is nice. They've got the colours and that. It's all very exciting."
But as my son says, that's boring.
It's the attention span.
Yeah. Where's the dinosaurs?
And you get like a green. It's like Brontosaurus.
I gotta say, look, see that Ian Chappell? He's the dinosaur. So.
Was a good bat. Was a good stick back in his day. Mob of the week.
Yep.
We'll
have to think of one.
We'll need one for this week. Yeah.
Shower.
Enough about Big Bash.
Rolling into the NFL.
Yeah, I think we're
going
finished
international now.
Yeah, we're finished cricket wise.
The best segue in podcasting.
Yes, from a round ball with sticks to from a sport with helmets to another sport with helmets.
Boom. There we go. Right there. It's right there.
Let's talk about the NFL.
Sport with chin straps to another one with chin straps. Take us away.
Yeah, NFL. So to kind of recap where we got to the end of round 15, the COVID in the NFL, and we'll talk about COVID in NBA as well. American sports kind of struggling with the Rona of late, which kind of forced, was it Saturday games and Sunday games, 3 games in total to be moved. They ended up being, we got a Monday night doubleheader, and then we got 2 games on Tuesday. I think so. To round it all out, so the Washington football team, the Raiders, the Browns, and the Eagles were actually, I don't think the Eagles were affected, but whoever they were playing was affected. I've forgotten now.
Washington.
Washington. Yeah, so their games essentially all got moved, which was also interesting with the COVID this week. Was also a super low scoring week. I think only 3 games went overs. Everything was unders, which really fucked a lot of people's fantasy teams.
Some of the upsets this week as well.
Upsets were, upsets as always. And if you bet your house on the Cards, I feel sorry for you because the Lions got the win there. But, there were some crazy things, like he could have had top 5 players at every position and they might have got 50 points in the playoffs. So if you were unlucky enough to have the ones that missed out on putting up big points in this. So, interesting. We are getting colder in America. Of course, we're getting into the winter months. It is getting colder over there.
Yeah.
Which, some of these games getting played in cold weather leads to lower scoring, COVID, a lot of guys in and out. A lot of new guys' faces on offenses and defenses, chemistry, et cetera, kind of really led to a pretty low-scoring week. So we'll have to see how that happens, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Some other news stories. We talked about Demaryius Thomas having a seizure or passing away, I think it was 2 weeks now. He was suffering from seizures and it looks like he had a seizure, and by all accounts that was the likelihood of why he'd passed away, unfortunately. But he did have close to 500 people will show up to his celebration of life event, like essentially his funeral.
Real
during
nice.
the
Real
week.
nice showing.
A lot of former players, a lot of former teammates across the league from the 4 stops I think he made. All talk about how he's an excellent human being and an excellent person to be around. So big loss, especially a young bloke at that. But it was great to see everyone kind of getting around DT and his funeral. So, and more football-related news, if I keep rambling on. Injury-wise, we lost Chris Godwin to IR.
ACL.
Yeah, ACL.
That's huge.
Lenny Fournette is also injured, and they're going to pick up Le'Veon Bell as a replacement.
By all accounts, picked him up, just clearing his medical now. I mean, if he's going to be able to do anything with any team, it's potentially the Bucks.
In that offense.
Bruce Arians has been great. Like you've seen the last couple of years, Fournette's just gone from sort of, I guess, that downhill sort of slope to being Super Bowl winning running back.
Yeah,
Playoff Lenny.
That's it. If I guess Antonio Bryant's got anything to do with it as well.
AB's back. Yeah,
Yep.
you got AB and
Sorry,
Bell.
Antonio Brown. I don't know why I said Brian.
I knew it was
Trying
talking
to
about.
keep up. Yeah.
That's it. So yeah, if he's got anything to go by as well, like just that offense, it clicks. Somehow they make it work. So yeah, I'm hoping for all the best for Bell.
Well, the Bucks are going to need it after their
Shutout.
the poor performance against the Saints.
Well, they're saying it was Brady's first time shutout in like 250 games.
Yeah, it was his first shutout in 15 years, and it breaks a 255 streak of starting and scoring, I think.
Good game to punt on that one.
Was it?
That was facetious. I'm glad I did not touch that one.
I think it was also interesting, if we want to go GOAT chat, that Drew Brees and Peyton Manning both were never shut out. But I'm only kidding. I'll just bring it up as a...
What is it? They also have won half the amount of Super Bowl rings as...
Yes. I know. It's still silly chat.
Yeah, it's funny to see that. I think I also saw during the week one of the broadcast teams that had like 7 or 8 of the broadcast team members pick the Bucks, and only Drew Brees picked the Saints, and he was obviously the only one that came up that week. So that was pretty fun as well.
Defense is legit.
They have this. We'll go into it a little bit later as well, but they just have the Bucks number. They know
division rivals. That's
always.
Yeah,
always. Sean Payton.
That's it.
Yeah.
From his basement.
So if I can continue the injury or relative injury news, that could also potentially be ruining fantasy teams. The Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs, have the Rona. The big news, of course, Hill and Kels both in COVID protocols. Hill was early in the week. Kels was today, I believe.
Yeah, unlikely for the weekend. We'll see what happens.
The kicker as well,
Butker.
Yeah, and I think they've lost an offensive lineman. They've had a few test positive, which is unfortunate for them.
7 in a row.
Yes. So that, of course, as I said before, will impact fantasy teams going forward. I'm glad none of those guys are my fantasy team and are on my competitors' roster. So
speaking of fantasy, last week they reckon it was one of the worst weeks ever in terms of.
Monks and I were talking about it before.
Yeah, but if you started a team of nobodies and, were a garbage fantasy manager, you could have gone out there and beaten a team that had all the superstars.
Yeah,
that's a fickle game that is NFL fantasy.
As I was telling Jimmy, I think only 3 games went overs. Everything was unders. Whether it was weather was injuries and COVID.
Weather.
Yeah, hard to say. But hey, that's the news and the kind of situation the league is in at the moment.
Well, I'll just quickly touch on that as well. So since the start of last week, 213 players have tested positive for COVID.
Yeah. Well, we said it was 125 last podcast, so another 100 plus in the week that was.
That's it.
Maybe we just got to learn to deal with it.
Well, the league's dealing with it. It's affecting rosters. Players are going in and out. It'd be interesting to see if it affects playoff seeds going forward. With the Packers, the only team to have clinched finals berth so far, with another was it 3 rounds to go?
Let's go.
That's it. And I think there are some pretty pivotal divisional games this week as well.
Yeah, I think the last 2 weeks both are very divisional focused across the league. So we'll talk about that in a moment. Pro Bowl rosters were released today. Of course, it is not fan. There's probably a lot.
Yeah.
There's a whole
Coaches.
thing that goes into coaches, players, fans, etc. For voting on who should be in that. Give us a run through of the rosters, Monks. Who have we got? You're looking at AFC. Give us an offense.
Yeah. So if I go through starting positions, I guess. So quarterback, we've got Justin Herbert in only his second season in the NFL. So huge props to him. We also got Jonathan Taylor as starting running back. I suppose behind them we've got Patty Mahomes and Lamar Jackson at quarterback, and Nick Chubb and Joe Mixon at running back.
Full Chubb.
That's it. Wide receiver, obviously we've got Tyreek Hill. Jamar Chase is in there.
As a rookie,
which is awesome. Stephon Diggs and
Rare.
Keenan Allen round out the wide receiver core there. Then down at tight end, we've got Mark Andrews, and Travis Kelce. Do you want to go through the offensive line as well?
Nah.
Well, Slater Brown Dawkins at tackle, and
Quentin Nelson's been having a great year.
Yeah, he's been excellent. And then,
White Teller, shout out. Joel Britannia, obviously around. What about a bit of AFC defense? Shout out fullbacks, don't forget Paddy Ricard.
Yep, fullbacks.
I wish I had a name like Paddy Ricard. Miles Garrett has to be there. Max Crosby, he's had a fucking breakout, hasn't he?
Yeah, and talking as well, 2 years ago, he's in rehab now. He's at the Pro Bowl. So
there you go.
Impressive resurgence to his career.
Definitely. And Trey Hendrickson, they're rounding out the defensive ends. Interior lineman, we've got DeForest Buckner from Colts, having a great year, that defense core there.
Coming across from the 49ers, obviously. Chris Jones, Cameron Hayward. We had TJ Watt.
Yep. Yeah.
Could be a defensive MVP. It seems like he gets hurt a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah. Even to that, the season he's been having, despite being injured for a couple of games as well, speaks volumes for him.
If you get into the inside linebackers, Leonard is in that conversation as well for the defensive player of the year as well.
Definitely.
Run through those guys.
I guess, to round out the linebacker call, we've also got Joey Bosa, Matt Judon, and Denzel Perryman from the Raiders there.
Juden's only him. It's a good pickup from the Pats.
Yeah. I think, Pats' defense are always going to be really good as well. They'll be able to draw talent out wherever they can. Cornerback position, and I suppose in that secondary core, we've got JC Jackson, Xavier Howard, Denzel Ward, Kenny Moore the second.
Yep.
And then we've got Kevin Braid, Derwin James. Bayard. Sorry. Yep. There we go. And Tyron Mathers, from Kansas City.
Yeah, so I just want to throw in my Denver bias here. So Patrick,
not one Bronco. I don't think.
No, not one Bronco. Patrick Surtain has a better rating than 3 of those guys at corner. So I think he's been a bit hard done. He's had an excellent season.
According to who though?
The guys that you don't like, PFF, grading wise. And I think Justin Simmons, who was a Pro Bowler last year,
very, very good,
and having a better year this year, to miss out, I think, has been a bit rough.
What does it really mean? You're a Pro Bowler.
It's more of a recognition for your efforts through the year. It's not like what it was in the past.
It's not like State of Origin.
Because, if we get to it, if we get into the NFC, Tom Brady's 15 years, the most, I believe, for anyone for Pro Bowl visits, of course, going to his longevity. But when you've got a quarterback core of Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, and then if you want to throw Kyler Murray in there for a bit of a change-up, that's pretty stacked core of quarterbacks there.
Run us through it, Monks.
We've already gone through the quarterbacks, so we'll go straight to running backs. We've got Dalvin Cook, James Conner, and Alvin Kamara. Resurgent
out of James Conner.
Yeah, which is, again, speaking volumes of the fact that he's been injured as well.
I want to talk about this next bloke, Cooper Kupp.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well,
is he the most valuable player in the NFL?
Oh, MVP. Will he be MVP?
Because we always get on Jonathan Taylor's dick.
Yeah.
And this guy's having He's going to break all kinds of records.
He potentially could
will
break-
if he stays healthy these last 3 games, he's going to be the most accomplished receiver in every facet of the game.
Yeah, well, he'll break Megatron's records, is what we're talking about. So
Megatron, Michael Thomas in catches.
yep, he'll get the lot.
This is going to be the most accomplished year ever out of a wide receiver.
Yeah, and you look at that core. Follow that with Adams, Jefferson, and Deebo Samuel, who's also been excellent this year. That's a
They've
core.
all been great, and have a look at their numbers compared to Cooper Kupp.
I can tell you now, Cooper Kupp is not within the top 5 of MVP.
Yeah, I think it'll go to one of the quarterbacks anyway.
Well,
It'll Brady.
I disagree.
Rodgers,
I
so.
disagree with that.
I don't. Well, I think they should change it up occasionally. But
Yeah, I think so.
you know what the league's like, though.
Yeah, they want it. They want to give it to a quarterback.
Yeah.
But who's been the most outstanding this year? If
Surprise packet. Yeah,
if it's not Cup and Taylor, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong. They've been the most outstanding.
Well, yeah, like as much as, like I think I got it in the notes, like as much as Matt Stafford's been having a great resurgence at Los Angeles Rams, it's the Cooper Kupp led Rams at the moment.
yeah, and he's
Going to
stepped up.
break all kinds of records.
Yeah.
I know. For me, I think it's kind of, if they don't win, it's kind of fixed towards quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, big time. It's always
100%.
fixable quarterbacks.
100%. So we go through the rest of the NFC team. At tight ends, we've got George Kittle and Kyle Pitts.
It's another rookie as well. So
having a great year as a rookie.
yeah, you know, some people get on him about being unders and not being that impressive because that's the thing in fantasy wise. But for a rookie tight end to go out there would be essentially their number 1 tight end and wide receiver on that team,
With really
getting
going
double
out.
covered the entire time, and he's still putting up decent numbers. Like you see the specimen that he's going to be. Just needs some support.
That's it. So if you go through the offensive line, we've got Trent Williams, Tristan Wirfs, again, rookie having a great year. Tyron Smith, second year. Sorry, yeah.
For Worths, yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Zach Martin, Brandon Sheriff,
Yep.
and Ali Marpet.
Few bucks.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Here's the thing for you. The Chargers had, I think, 6 guys get put into the AFC, and Denver beat them and got 0. So salty McSalt on the end of the table.
It's
Well, yeah, we're all the Saints players.
Yeah. True. I
you got
agree.
Alvin.
Yeah, it's that LA market versus that Colorado market. Anyway.
Yeah.
you reckon that's what it comes down to?
Who do you tune in for?
Money talks. Money talks.
And at
Finish
centers,
this one.
at centers we've got Jason Kelsey and Ryan Jensen.
Shout out Kuzcek.
Yep. Kyle
Go on.
Kuzcek.
Use check.
Yep, love a fullback. On the defensive side of the ball, our D line is Nick Bosa, Brian Burns, Cameron Jordan, Aaron Donald, Jonathan Allen, Kenny Clark there. We've got linebacker core, Chandler Jones, Robert Quinn, Shaquille Barrett, Micah Parsons.
First
again.
year.
Yeah,
Also
having
rookie.
an awesome year. And Bobby Wagner's always sitting in there as well. Then switching to the secondary, Trevon Diggs.
Trayvon.
Trevon having
Diggs.
a great season.
10 picks
himself.
already this year.
And yeah,
Yep.
record breaking.
Yep. On pace to break
He's-
records.
So he is, I think, one shy of Dallas team record. He's having a stellar year there. Aside from him, we've got Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slade, Marshawn Lattimore,
That's a
Condre.
secondary.
Berta Bagger.
Yep.
Harrison Smith. Good luck passing on that. I think the NFC team, to me, it looks stronger.
Yep.
Time will tell
Yeah.
in the fake game that is progress.
Yes.
Well, that's it. Well, I mean, yeah, if the Bucks go back to the Super Bowl, there's a few players that won't be playing in that game anyway. So
Yeah.
Fair point.
They've got multiple alternative lists, and we won't go into that. But that was the pick for the 2 rosters so far. Before we get into the previews, there's a bunch of people that want to see Peps delete a beer, and we'll get to the thoughts on Tyler Huntley's performance for the Ravens in a minute.
Is that real?
Yes. Scull a beer, eat some placenta, start a placenta section.
Eat a placenta.
Uh,
I don't think it's
Can't
ever
do
been
that.
shown scientifically to give you any benefit eating a placenta. However, sculling a beer, perhaps.
it might improve your golf game.
I don't think anything Anything can save that. What about you? We played Sean's birthday. What was it? Monday afternoon. Had the tee box set a little bit to the left. It was a little bit left to right. Oh, mate, hasn't played for fucking 6 months.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, just no worries. Brings out the driver.
No warm up.
We've got the irons.
No swing.
Bends it right to left, you know. No worries. Lays it up. And it was like pretty much chip on.
Chipped
After
on.
that.
Chipped on. About 2 foot away.
I mean,
Well, but birdied it.
Birdied it, drilled it, birdied it. But I did say it's all
meanwhile,
downhill.
we couldn't hit the fairway.
Yeah. And I said it's all downhill from here.
What happened?
Yeah, it went all downhill from there.
Wheels off. Wheels off.
I was just out there slinging it. I wasn't here trying to set any records.
It was a nice shot, actually, that first one. Credit where credit's due. Right to left.
was.
I wish I could hit one like that. All right, you want to talk about fucking NFL? Let's go.
Yes. So week 16, Thursday night football kicks off tomorrow. We've got the 49ers taking on the Titans. 49ers easily put away the Falcons. Jimmy G, he's been actually, I think he's got the highest passer rating in the last couple of weeks. He's actually been one of the more consistent quarterbacks of late.
He's a very good-looking middle-aged man.
I think it helps when he's got the Samuel and Kittle healthy.
Yeah, Debo and George, they go all right.
Yeah, and getting that protection that he needs,
Sure.
and then throwing a bit of defense with the Bosa on the other side, and they can get jobs done. The Titans' lows in that upset. We talked about this in. I think we might have talked about it at golf. They got upset by the Steelers after standing on their logo, having a team.
Yes.
Start to that, and it didn't end well for them. 1917, the loss.
Curse there.
It's close.
There is chat about Jimmy G's now pushing them in, back towards the playoffs. What do we do with Jimmy G? Do they hand it over to Trey Lance next year? And then what do we think about this football game?
Going forward, to answer your first question, I think Jimmy G's a workable quarterback in the NFL, at least from a marketing point of view.
Oh, big time.
He's like George Clooney. He's like there's a little bit of salt and pepper going on, but he's a good-looking man. You can market a team around Jimmy G. Mm-hmm. Are they going to do anything going forward? I don't think so. I think the Titans are legit. You got to think of what they had to overcome. Derrick Henry, probably the best running back in the league going out. Antonio Brown, one of the best receivers in the league going down. Mm-hmm. What they've been doing, managing Donta Foreman, Dontrell Hilliard. I think they've been going in the right direction. I've gone the Titans here.
Yeah, I've done the same. I've gone the Titans as well. I think Vrabel's going to have them up and ready for this game after a dismal performance against the Steelers. And I think they should have beaten the Steelers. 49ers.
Dismal's a hard word. They pushed them. They
pushed them, but I think they could have done better. Jimmy G, I think, like you said, serviceable quarterback. There's going to be plenty of teams, I think, looking for a guy of Jimmy G's caliber. Sure. Maybe to bridge them or, for on that 1 year, 2 year kind of deal, and we'll see how that goes from there. But I've gone Titans in this, Mr. Monkey.
I'm actually riding the 49ers train at the moment. I picked them. If we go straight into the odds here as well, they are favourites sitting at $1.57. Titans are sitting at $2.41.
That's big. That's big.
Yeah, big value for anyone who wants to jump on the Titans there. We do have a line of 3 and total match points of 44.5.
Shan't be touching any of that. How about it, boys? Saturday games.
Saturday, Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas.
Christmas games.
Nice little Christmas present.
Yeah, we've got the Browns taking on the Packers in the first game. We've got listed here. Browns, of course, a little bit banged up and struggling with COVID.
Who's starting? Is it Case Keenum?
Oh, no, I think it'll be Baker. Should be back.
Baker's back?
Should be back. They had to play Nick Mullins in the game on the weekend.
Got them a W as well.
Yes, did get them the W. I think it helped having a full Chubb, as we alluded to.
Full Chubb, baby. Full Chubb's better than a half Chubb.
I don't think it's going to matter, though, against the Packers, unfortunately. Rodgers did throw 3 touchdowns last week to tie Favre for 442, I believe, touchdowns as a Packers quarterback.
That's right.
Number 442.
It's good to be a Packers fan though. You go from Favre into Rodgers, and you're set for almost 30 years worth of quarterback play.
Jordan Love enters the chat.
Hopefully, he can transition and be
I hope
that.
so. Yeah, I don't
hope
want
so.
to rag on him.
What was interesting about that 442 stat was Rodgers had about 100 less intercepts over that course of their
Very
careers.
efficient, very efficient.
Yeah, and Favre sort of was a gunslinger, and he didn't mind throwing it up there for potentially getting big gains, but he did get turnovers, so we'll see.
Baker Mayfield and Case Keenum both still on COVID-19 protocol.
Yeah, so they were early last week, so they should be getting close to coming off.
Maybe Nick
Saturday
Mullins.
game could be another Nick Mullins. Don't think it matters. Packers going to win this. Brown season likely done because I don't think they'll be last in their division. I think they already are last in their division, and that'll put them a game or maybe 2 games back from where they really need to be. So Pack for mine.
I'll say Pack.
No Judas.
No, should get the job done. Monks, your thoughts?
Yep. I've gone Pack as well. I mean, they've already clinched that first NFC playoff spot. They are favourites at $1.26. The Browns are out at $3.85 at the moment. We have a line of 7.5 and total match points of 45.5.
Playable, but also quite short. What about this game? AFC Colts take on NFC Cardinals. Hey guys, Cardinals can't lose. Let's get them at $1.12. That's what we said last week. And then I woke up and the Detroit Lions did the Arizona Cardinals. It sucks because that was a leg, That's what's keeping you up in the morning.
Yep.
And essentially, the worst team in football beat arguably the best team in football.
Yep.
How does that happen?
Hard to say whether they're missing a little bit of chemistry with all the changes in the cards on the offense. Their defense maybe not where it needs to be. Run D wise as well, with JJ Watt of course being out for a while. But you think they would have adjusted to that?
Big question marks. Question marks.
Yeah, I think they lost James Conner through part of this game as well, but they had Chase Edmonds back. But again, guys coming in and out of the squad, they were missing something, and the Lions were up for this game. The Cards on the other hand were not. They are still 10-4. They can clinch a playoff position, but they are sliding of late.
2 in a row.
We'll get to lines in a minute. I'll mention that. Colts, on the other hand, Taylor has been carrying them. As you said, MVP, he had almost 30 touches, 170 yards and a touchdown. Wentz, on the other hand, couldn't really get much going, but I guess it didn't matter. The Pats, Duggar and Pittman got into a little bit of a scuffle. I did see this, and they both got ejected. EJ Speed became the first NFL player to record 2 touchdowns of block punts since Ed Reed. That's an interesting stat thrown in there.
Yeah.
For this game, though, what do you think? Colts are going to Cards. Cards will be at home. Who do you think is going to get a win in this one?
Indy for mine. I think they've shown more recently than the Cardinals have shown. A lot can change in a week, obviously, but I know I like where Indianapolis is at.
I tend to agree with you, and I've also gone in Indianapolis.
Jeez. I think I might have put the curse on him. I've got the
Cards need a bounce back though.
Yeah, we've got there that cards are sliding. They do need a bounce back. But Colts are on the rise. The defense has been solid for them. Jonathan Taylor, as you said, obviously carrying the offense there. Definitely playing off of that AFC South division title as well. So got everything to play themselves as much as the Cards do.
2 teams are done out of that 2-horse race.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. We've already talked about the Titans, but both have pretty good schedules, obviously, with the divisional games there against the rest of the teams. It's going to be interesting, but I've also gone Colts.
Give us some odds. Do the odds reflect that?
They do not. So it's still very close, but the Colts are underdogs at $1.99. The Cards are sitting at $1.82 at the moment.
That's close.
Leave that shit alone.
That's probably I think that's the closest odds I can remember this year. So
there's been a few.
Definitely within that range.
Don't listen to us because the Detroit Lions were playing $6 last week, and no one would have seen that coming.
Yeah.
No. We've got a line of 1.5. Total match points of 48.5.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Wouldn't go near that.
Yeah.
So Sunday early games. First game we got is Lions taking on the Falcons. Lions no longer the worst team in the league. The Jags have the number 1 pick currently. So then they got the number 1 or last seed, whatever you want to call it. So they've got first pick.
If you're not invested in this in fantasy or gambling, you need to check your pulse.
Yeah. Summarise. As we said, Lions got the win over the Cards. Surprise win. Goff is efficient. Doesn't really have any superstars in any of the skill positions. The Falcons, on the other hand, they did struggle against the 49ers. They've got Pitts, and that's about it. Throw in some Cordell Patterson if they can get him open. They ran 13 plays within 10 yards without a touchdown. So they had 5 plays from the 1. That's pretty bad from the Falcons, not being able to punch it in. Do we put on the curse on the Lions? Are we all going to pick the Lions here? Or do the Lions return
attempted it.
Form?
I put it in there.
Oh, no, I picked Falcons.
Yeah, I'll go Falcons. But I have seen this come back straight in my face.
I jumped on the 49ers bandwagon. I'm jumping on the Lions bandwagon.
I like it. It might happen. Pays off once and twice.
Yeah, hoping for twice now. The bookies don't like it. They are underdogs. $3.18. The Falcons are favourites $1.36. That tells you where they're at.
They were $6. $6 to beat the Arizona Cardinals.
That's it. We do have a line of 6. Total match points of 42.5.
Don't like any of it. In a big matchup,
AFC North.
The Ravens at 8-6 are taking on the Bengals at 8-6. The Ravens nearly chased down the Packers with, as I mentioned before, that Tyler Huntley as their quarterback.
Yeah, no right to be in that game.
Yeah, and talk about Tyler Huntley's performance. I'm not sure if you can find some numbers real quick. I think he threw 2 touchdowns and had almost 300 yards. Good completion percentage.
Good numbers.
As a, what do you want to call him? Not de facto Lamar Jackson, but as in that Lamar Jackson kind of prototype, as the replacement, of course, with Lamar out, did the job. As a guy that I think he went undrafted, was barely scouted, and the Ravens picked him up, and he did well from the preseason, and he managed to make it on their squad as the backup quarterback. So, big shout out to him. I think that's really impressive. It kind of goes to show that, hey, they've got too many Mike Glennons going around the league, holding up spots for guys that potentially could come in and actually show their skills. They did, of course, lose to the Packers, I mentioned before. The Bengals had a really low-scoring affair against the Broncos in a game the Broncos potentially could have won in this. But I think they'll do better against the Ravens secondary than they did against Denver's secondary. Like we said, big playoff implications for this one. Really need to stay in the top 2 within the North to potentially go through the playoffs. Is Lamar back? Is probably one question, James.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the Bengals are, I think, pretty close to full strength. They've got everyone over there. I think I went Bengals because I like what they were doing. No, I haven't. I've gone Ravens with the upset of, I don't know why I picked the Ravens.
Hard to split.
I think they're really close, and I think the last time I picked the Bengals, they kind of got blown out by the Ravens.
Let you down.
Yeah, let us down big time. So the Ravens definitely have talent. They are really banged up as a squad. I think this game may depend on if Lamar's playing or not. But then Huntley did pretty well. So
he's not bad. It looks like sometimes you watch him and you're like, oh, that's Lamar. And then you're like, oh, it's Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some really close games through this week. So this will be another one, and the odds might reflect that. Who'd you pick?
No confidence, but I've gone the Bengals as well. At home, home crowd advantage. I think the Ravens. Yeah. I'm not sold on them.
No, neither.
Yeah, I think I've gone the Bengals as well. I'm just trying to quickly pick up on Lamar Jackson. He did not practice this week. So it will be interesting to see what happens coming into the game.
Indeed.
Do the odds reflect that at all?
Yes, they do. So Bengals are favourites currently at $1.65. Baltimore Ravens are out at $2.25, pending, I suppose, news of Lamar Jackson. We do have a line of 3 and total match points of 45.5.
Fair few points. Who knows?
Yeah. Don't like any of that.
Moving into the Rams and the Vikings. Interesting matchup. The Vikings trying to stay alive. The Rams going for that number 1 seed in the NFC. Cooper Kupp, what do you think?
Well, we talked about it before. He's definitely leading that Rams team now and has a great connection with Stafford. So
he's putting up some insane numbers.
Big numbers. Vikings, on the other hand, played they got a win, unconvincing win against the Bears, but a terrible game on primetime football. Please stop putting Bears on primetime. They are terrible.
Poor Chicago.
Yeah, I think Nagy's potentially going to get fired next week, but we will wait and see on that. For this one, I do like the Vikings' talent. You know, they got Cook, they got Jefferson. Cousins maybe slightly uninspiring as a quarterback, and the defense probably not right there. Rams, Von Miller got his first sack for them.
Off the donut.
After the donut. And they've got that defense. They handled the Seahawks. I think they'll handle the Vikings as well.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think the Vikings a little bit underplayed. I think they're better than what their record suggests.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'll go the Rams here.
Yep, I have also gone the Rams. They are favourites, $1.62. The Vikings are out at $2.31 at the moment. We have a line of 3 and total match points of 49.5.
It's a lot of points.
There's a lot of points. Vikings have covered the line in the last 5 of 6 matchups against the Rams.
Again, don't like any of it. We go to a rematch in the Bills taking on the Patriots next, with the Patriots, of course,
Seems like it was just last week.
Yeah, well, a couple of these teams have played each other within the last month. I think that's just kind of how the schedule rolled out for a lot of the NFL, with the extra game coming in, the extra week for the season. Bills are 8-6, Patriots are 9-5. The Bills did get a win over the Panthers, who are on a big time slide, and that and Allen was not 100%. They did have a strong fourth quarter against the Colts. That was the Patriots. They started off really slow on that, and I think Mac Jones was struggled a bit, but then for whatever reason, they came back. I think Mac Jones kind of came alive in the fourth quarter. They really pushed hard to do that, but Mac's kind of come down to earth a little bit and potentially might be losing his hold on that Offensive Rookie of the Year award.
I think it'll be fun.
Either way, it is a rematch. This one, though, is at home for the Patriots. I think I've stayed with the Patriots against my own theory of you lose, you learn the most in a loss.
You win or you learn.
Yeah, so I think that I have still picked the Patriots. I just think the other Bill Belichick's got it over the Bills.
I'll go the Pats here. I think, I like where head's at, Sean. Bill. He owns the Bills.
That's it. Just back on Mac Jones, he is still locked in as a very heavy favourite for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
There we go.
Back to the game, I have also gone the Patriots. They are favourites leading to the match, $1.75. Bills are out at $2.08. We have a line of 2 and total match points of 43.5.
Don't like any of that.
No.
After how the first game went, I don't think, if anything, go unders. All right, let's talk about the toilet bowl. Jags, Jets. We'll run through this.
Quick.
Jags are a hot mess in Houston. They are the worst team in the league now, with Detroit getting their win. The Jets had a good first half, but then again also struggled. I think the Jets have more talent. I picked them. I think they'll get the win at home over the Jags.
Agreed. If you're watching this game, may God have mercy on your soul.
Well, the Jags, they fired their coach. Usually get a 1 win. The Jags are that bad. They couldn't get their bonus coach win. So they got nothing out of that.
I'll go Jets.
Max?
Go Jets. Yep. I'm just bringing up the odds now. I have also gone the Jets. I don't think you could touch the Jags on anything at the moment. That being said,
the Jags favourites.
The Jags are favourites. Closer odds than the first game we were talking about.
Yep.
Can't remember what it was.
So what are we?
So long ago. They are favourites $1.87. The Jets are out at $1.93.
Both below 2.
Both below 2. Line of 1. Total match points of 41.5.
Don't watch this game. Don't bet on it. That leads us into the Giants taking on the Eagles. The Giants are still hurting. They're losing to Cowboys. Of course, last week they did lose Sterling Shepard with a torn Achilles. Believe Daniel Jones is going to be on IR with his neck as well. And they're going to have the other neck, Mike Genham, play for them again, and he sucks.
No, come on. They're going forward with Mike Glennon.
It seems that by all counts they are, but he's not very good. The Eagles, on the other hand, they did capitalise on the COVID and got a win over the Washington football team. After being down, I think, 10 points in the first quarter, they came back and won that. They did finish with 238 yards rushing. First team with 175-plus rushing yards in seven consecutive games since the 1985 Bears. Is that real? That's an interesting stat.
I was just reading that during the week. I don't know if that... I don't know if it sounds real.
Yeah. It kind of makes sense with if Hurts runs and Sanders is killing it, but I don't think the Eagles were ever doing that good. In this game, it probably doesn't matter. I think Eagles are going to win. Giants are a basket case.
I'll go Eagles.
You want to think about that?
No.
No, yeah, I've gone Eagles as well. They are pretty heavy favourites at $1.21. The Giants are out at $4.45. We have a line of 9.5, total match points of 40.5.
The last game of the early games, the Chargers taking on the Texans. The Chargers did lose. I'll get to that in a second. Chargers did lose in overtime clash with the Chiefs. Herbert, of course, made it on the Pro Bowl wrestler, as we mentioned. They will smoke the Texans. I don't think we need to talk about it.
Probably Chargers should win.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
But also, who knows?
Yeah, Chargers should win this. And that, I think, will keep them in the second place in the West.
Interesting division.
Very. Texans, again, another hot mess.
Bucks, Panthers. Let's just roll through it.
Odds, Bucks.
Do you want odds?
Nah.
Odds of the Chargers by a lot. All right, Bucks, Panthers, this again.
Bucks, Panthers.
Bucks lost the Saints. We talked about that. They did get banged up with injuries. The Panthers season, I think, is done. Newton's been pretty terrible for them in every start. So
He's a specimen.
He is. But mate, is he?
I'm telling. Yeah.
Is he more a Taysom Hill kind of quarterback now than the starter? So
yeah, that's it. Well, yeah, he's going on 12 straight starts for the Panthers and losing. Obviously, that being that bookending his stint over at the Pats. That being said, to highlight, I suppose, his freakish ability, he's extended his NFL record by scoring a rushing touchdown and passing touchdown for the 44th time in his career.
Don't know how to win, and I don't think it matters against the Buccaneers.
No,
agreed.
Bucks by a lot. Monks, I shoot you big Bucks.
That scored 0 points last week.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they're not playing the Saints this week, so it's all that matters.
That's true. I think we're at $3 here. They are favourites at $1.19. The Panthers are out at $4.70 at the moment.
That's too short.
Too short, you reckon?
I reckon.
14.
What was last week?
Yeah. Oh, well, Panthers aren't Saints though. So.
Yeah. And I mean, Bucks did just sign Bell. No. We do have a line of 10. Total match points of 44.
No, I don't like any of that. So I pre-jacked before. Sunday late games. Now we'll jump into the Bears taking on the Seahawks. The Seahawks, I think, have won 2 in a row. Actually, no, they lost to the Rams, but they'd won 2 previous, I believe. Yeah, so they've been a little bit better with Russ, Danger Russ getting back on healthy, getting better with the finger. The Bears committed a bunch of penalties, lost the Vikings, as we talked about before. They stink. Seahawks don't look good against good teams. Nagy, I think I mentioned before, I don't think it makes the next season. He's going to get fired potentially after this loss to the Seahawks. I've picked the Seahawks to win.
What do you reckon?
I'll go Seahawks.
All right, there's three Seahawks here. They are Favourites $1.32. The Bears are out at $3.40 at the moment. We have a line of 6.5 and total match points of 43.5.
Is this on the internet?
Yes. Just don't fall asleep, bro. Steelers Chiefs. Steelers get Joe Hayden back. They do have a good
Chiefs.
defense. 4 turnovers. Chiefs beat the Chargers, we mentioned before the walk-off touchdown. I also have gone the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Yeah, I've gone Chiefs as well.
And the odds in the...
Geez, we're running through these fast. I'm not going to be able to give us a total match points here.
I'm so pissed.
Oh god. So Chiefs are heavy favourites at $1.24. The Steelers are out at $4.10. We have a line of 7.5.
Oh, you wouldn't take that. No, you would probably.
You'd put it in a multi, and then it won't get up, and you'd be pissed. So.
You know what they call it in America?
What?
Parlay.
The parlay.
Parlay. It's like a Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Parlay.
No.
What do you say? Parlay. All right.
Broncos
Moving
Raiders both at 7-7. Broncos do lose Teddy. He had a scary knockout and had to be carted off.
Is he okay?
By all accounts, yes. Scans came back all good. He in the concussion protocols, but
That's
he'll
good.
miss this week. Drew Lock will be this. Drew Lock will be the starter. The Raiders, did get a close win against the Browns there with a 48 walk-off field goal. Derek Carr has led them on 28 game-winning drives and has tied Wilson and Stafford for the second most in QB's first 8 seasons. I think Carr probably needs to get some props. He's got no coach. They got rid of most of his O-line in the offseason. Wall and Jacobs have been banged up.
His name's Derek.
Yeah. Ruggs, of
Like
course,
that
in this
hurts.
situation. So he's been dealt a lot of tough hands in this. So I think I've been Judas and picked the Raiders again to
2s and 4s.
to hopefully get some sort of magic juju back. I think the Broncos could and should win this game. But it'll be close. No, I went Judas anyway.
Fuck you, Judas. I'm going to go faith in the people because the Raiders keep fucking me up. Keep tipping them.
Yeah.
And they push it.
Yeah, well, every time I pick Denver, they lose. Every time I don't pick them, they may win. So
They
Yes.
may win.
I imagine the pick of a young Australian that has never been to America.
Halfway across the world.
They just check it in the ESPN's like, Sharon's picked. Oh, these picked us this week. Nah, boys, we got to pack it in.
I'm sure it plays into. You know what? I'm going to tip the Broncos.
Yeah, you just said that, didn't you?
Yeah, suck me off.
Max, go.
All right. I have also tipped the Broncos. It's surprising on the tipping app.
Raiders are heavy favourites.
Raiders are heavy favourites, but the odds are in the other favour with the Broncos being favourites $1.87 and the Raiders out at $9. Oh, sorry, $9. Jeez, $1.90.
Raiders at $9.
$1.93.
Dirty cash, I want you.
We got a line of 1 and total match points of 41.5.
Yeah, wouldn't touch any of that. Drew Lock's career probably on the line here. Needs a good game. Because by all accounts, if you go in the betting market for Russell Wilson's next position, Denver heavy favourites to get Russell Wilson next year. That's what bookies think.
From Seattle to Denver.
Have to see. Washington football team takes on the Cowboys. Of course, Washington a bit banged up. They have the Coco. They did have Garrett Gilbert as their starting quarterback. He did sling it around a little bit, but he's not the greatest. Antonio Gibson had a toe injury and was a little bit lame, but he did play out the whole game.
Went over 40 yards. 26, I think he got.
Yes, 26 yards rushing.
Touchdown.
40 yards receiving something and a touchdown. So,
Just don't bet.
yeah.
That's my advice.
Yeah. Don't add that extra
Kids,
leg
don't
into the
bet.
multi.
Just don't do it.
Otherwise, you end up like this.
Christmas party ladies.
Cowboys defense is playing pretty well. The offense is coming around, but it's an offense that is so high powered and potent that is struggling, and they're still 10-4. So we'll see how they go on that. Diggs, as we mentioned, has a league high 10 interceptions, and he's one
Records.
short of the team record that Walls set in 1981. I've gone Cowboys, I believe. Yes. What about you?
Boys, I'll go to the boys.
Boys for the boys.
Yep.
Boys for the boys.
That makes three of us. They are heavy favourites, $1.18. The football team are out at $4.95. We've got a line of 10.5 and total match points of 47.5.
Then I think the last game in the round, the Monday night football game, we've got the Dolphins taking on those almighty Saints as we talked about. Both 7-7. The Dolphins on a 6-game run. They're the second team to get to 7-7 after a 1-7 start. The other team was the 1974 Jets.
7-4s.
Yeah.
Saints have the Bucks number, as we mentioned before. They got a lot of pressure on Brady and really riled him up to the point that Brady ran over the sideline and swore at the coach. Right. That's not a taunting penalty.
Of course not. Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
The Saints' offense, though, outside of Kamara, really, they've got nothing, and they only were able to kick field goals in this.
Sure.
I've picked the Dolphins.
Fins for the upset. 6 in a row.
Yep.
I'll go to the Saints. I'll go to the Saints on the basis of them playing good defense. But who knows?
Yep.
Battle of the South.
Yes.
I have also gone the Saints for this one. They, I guess, again, favourites $1.58. The Dolphins are out at $2.39, so that's a juicy underdog there, Sean. We have a line of 3 and total match points of 38.5.
I don't like any of that. Still.
Let's move forward, boys.
Let's keep this truck rolling.
Yeah, before Christmas is coming, and before Peps ends up in a hearse,
the poo-choo train. Christmas isn't Christmas at the poo-choo train.
Mr.
That's fuck. Let's go.
We've got 2 sports we want to cover to finish this off. The NBA, as we mentioned before with the NFL, has a lot of COVID. It's a bit hard. It's a bit hard for them to.
Come on, it's a wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, the liquid goes in your mouth.
To the listeners, I'm really pissed. But we can move on. It's a lovely time of the year. NBA.
Can the league continue? They can't really absorb the amount of COVID cases they're getting like the NFL can.
Interesting, isn't it? Because if you've got 12 guys on your roster, very hard to absorb it. If you've got 53, it's a different story.
Plus, they've got practice squads in the NFL of another 20 that they're allowed. So they've got plenty of guys they can pull up.
Imagine you're a head coach. You got 3 piss heads.
Well, Duke Johnson, who just played for the Dolphins
Killed it.
wasn't on the active roster. He was from their practice squad. He was added to the active roster this week. So they've got extra means. NBA kind of doesn't have that. I don't think they're going to cancel games. They'll postpone them and try to move them around just because the money. We always talk about the money in sports. There's too much. There's a shitload in the NBA.
Honey.
It'd be interesting to see what they kind of do protocol-wise with, not to go into the science and health of Omicron and it being less mild, etc., and of how the league deals with that. But yeah, the NBA's got a lot of COVID at the moment.
Do they go back into a bubble?
I don't think the players will want it.
That's me breathing through my nose.
Because the problem, the bubble worked because it was more playoff related.
Yeah, true.
Less teams, less players. But
hey, this is what we need to. All right, you guys are my 2 best friends. You know what? I don't care. I don't care. Omicron, we're in your head, we're all dangerous, Influenza, Oh, yeah. I'm like in the back of your mind, I'm going to get you.
you can tell Peps watches too much CNN and Fox News.
That's conflicting news, I'll just sit in the middle. I give him one. Bah! Give him one from another. Bah! This is a big risk.
So we won't cover the NBA in too much detail where they are leading into Christmas. They do have, I think, 3 games on Christmas
for
their slate. There's the big story, of course, is the COVID and how they deal with that. We'll have to watch that, of course, with the Christmas break, essentially for all sports. People going away, going home, lots of traveling involved, how that'll affect all the leagues when we get back. But we'll talk about that when it happens. Final sport, UFC and boxing. Boxing news.
Ding.
It was actually Jake, not Logan. I wrote that wrong. Jake fucking Paul. He got the knockout of Tyrone Woodley after an absolute hug fest for
He
6
flatlined
rounds.
him.
Yeah, absolute flatline. Slept him. Woodley bounced off his face, essentially. It was a massive knockout.
A lot of people calling that it was rigged.
Bullshit.
What do you think about that?
Nah, I don't agree.
I think Woodley did instigate a lot of the hugging, and
Can you emulate that? He got flatlined. Like I'm not on Jake Paul's dick, but
Yeah.
That
You
you
don't
can't-
want to be taking that shot.
you can't act that.
well,
Tyrone went no.
he could have gone out there to take the not a dive, but to take the hit.
I don't think so.
But I don't think you
watching
would.
that footage,
I don't think you would.
I don't think you could fake that.
Yeah, and if you watch it back, you watch Woodley was trying to knock down the jab of Jake quite often, and then Jake, and there was also feigning in body shots as well. So he got Woodley in between trying to knock down the jab and also block the rib shot.
It looked like a big one. Like it looked like spit,
Yeah,
and then head just going. And
So-
I'm a big Tyrone. I love Tyrone Woodley. Sorry.
yep.
Christmas, let's go. But I think he got put. I think he got put to the fact.
And I agree, and that was kind of finished my point.
Yeah.
Was Jake set him up for it and really landed the devastating shot. So
Yeah.
don't see how that's really a fix or a dive.
no.
But I'd say outside of that fight really was pretty average. And I think Jake made the smart thing calling out Masvidal and Nate Diaz as in more, again, MMA fighters.
Who do you want to
More
see?
current.
Who do you want to see?
I'd say
fight
that either one of those is pretty good, I'd say.
Fucking hell.
But both of those are also better strikers than what Woodley was. So, again, it's kind of a step up, and it is a biggish name.
You know who I'd like to see him fight?
Who?
A boxer in his age range.
Yeah, like a Tommy Fury maybe.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I was going to put
Tommy
that question to you. Based off this fight, would he have... Does he have the power? Does he have the talent to take on legit boxers?
Well, he had
Fury
Tommy.
still needs to prove himself in the
He
ring.
had Tommy already.
He did.
For him, it's about money.
It is.
Yeah,
But not to take away from him, he can throw hands. He's a legitimate.
he's got
boxer.
legit power. So, like,
Yeah.
if he can put it in the right spot, he's going to knock people out.
Sure.
I think Masvidal and Diaz are probably a step up in competition, which might be good. Might be what he needs.
Yeah, boxing.
Well,
I mean, we also thought Woodley was a step up, and
Yeah.
He was, and he did push Jake deeper in those fights. And
Yeah.
but again, it's all kind of a show, and I don't think the UFC is going to let the other two go without a big kind of commission their way to allow it. So don't see anything happening in the too distant future for Jake. But hey, watch that space.
Interesting. What about bit of UFC over the weekend?
Yeah.
Yep, fight night.
Fight night.
Was it? Yeah.
Derek Lewis got his KO in the first round over Chris Daukaus there, so that keeps him relevant in the upper echelon of the top 10 of the heavyweight division. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson got a loss against Bella Muhammad, who is now actually I think is
Top five. He's
top five in the ranks.
yeah.
And there's some interesting conversations about fights potentially for him, which, again, great to see. So they're kind of moving up. Not much other UFC news. No real big events, I don't think, now to January.
Yeah, 15th of Jan. I
5th
think.
of Jan,
So,
yeah. So
Yeah.
kind of quiet for the UFC to go forward. And then to finish us off, for all those NRL fans out there, they had the footy fight card on the weekend.
Big Gal.
Last night, Gal won impressively. Well, he did what he had to do.
It's pretty good, man.
He's good. He's got great volume, and he works you from head to toe. So he does his job. The rest of the card, though, absolute shit show. None of those guys should be on pay per view trying to box. People tune in for it, but says
us. Fat, unathletic, Christmas party, beer drinking.
yeah. But we can recognise talent, and that wasn't it. So I think on that point, that's all we had for
That'll
the
wrap us
podcast.
up. Merry Christmas
Yes,
to you
Yep.
and yours. I know it's been a tough
Definitely.
year, 2021. It's funny. Started 2020. you know, we're like, oh, this virus, it's getting us. We'll all unite around, you know, possibly a vaccine. And
2021, it'll be all better.
then, it divided us.
Puppy.
However, my final statement, the boys that they just grew up together, you know, they're attached at the hip. Sometimes one will run in their mouth and you don't agree with it. However, you just go, he's all right. And you ride and die. Thank you to our listeners. Thank you
definitely
to our future sponsors.
Let's hope they haven't watched the last hour of this.
And thank you to those that listened live, getting hammered on the internet. It's good fun.
Christmas special, really.
Yeah.
Indeed.
This was special.
Nearly
Last show for the year.
180,000 views on the YouTube, albeit 2/3 on one video. Thank you to all of those that stuck with us. We'll be back next year in a new studio. Marks, you taking on the studio?
Yet to be determined. We've got to figure this one out, but
Yeah, I think some women need to be talked to first. Anyway.
Anyway, so we'll take a break over Christmas.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yep, 2 weeks.
And then we'll be back and fresh for the new year.
And be covering the Sydney test, I believe.
Yep.
Wrap up Boxing Day and Sydney.
That's it. We might have
5-0. I'll see you in 5-0.
Yep, 5-0. Sounds good.
Thank you, boys. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you to all the dribblers.
Have a good Christmas and New Year's, and we'll see you in 2022.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.